Life on board a slave ship. Groups of slaves captured in the interior of Africa were forced to march hundreds of miles to the coast. To prevent escape, chains were passed through loops in iron or wooden collars around their necks, and through iron cuffs around their wrists and ankles to keep slaves chained together. Often they were forced to carry heavy burdens as they traveled. Any slave attempting to escape would be severely beaten or killed. When they reached the coast, the slaves were imprisoned until they were sold. The most desirable slaves were males between the ages of 15 and 25. At Fort Elmina in Ghana, up to 1,000 slaves could be held in stone dungeons. In Angola, captives were penned in open stockades. After examining the slaves and agreeing on a purchase price, slave traders usually branded the slaves with a hot iron to show ownership and returned them to the pens until they had purchased enough slaves to fill their ships. When they were ready to sail, slave traders herded the captives onto their ships for the 5-week journey across the Atlantic. The slaves were crowded into small spaces below deck and were forced to remain there during most of the journey, often chained to each other or to wooden beams. Water was seldom available for washing. Ventilation was poor. Wooden buckets were used as toilets. It was claimed that the odor of a slave ship could be smelled 5 miles away. Conditions on ships were so dirty, many captives died of diseases. Because of their crowded conditions, diseases often spread quickly. Slaves were usually brought up on deck and fed twice a day. Meals consisted of porridge or beans and water. When the weather was good, slaves might be taken on deck to exercise. This was done to keep the slaves as healthy as possible because healthy slaves were worth more when sold.